By the next morning, the police arrived, realized Tam had murdered his wife and escaped, and began a manhunt. Huong family in Shode GCC was notified to handle the funeral. They took little Hai back to Shode GCC to raise him. About a week later, the authorities captured Tam. He was caught trying to flee to Cambodia after stealing a very expensive bicycle, worth a fortune at the time. Tam confessed to the murder and theft. He was sentenced to death by execution. The narrator's family attended the execution, which was held near Ton Bion Market. After Tam's execution, Huong's vengeful spirit began to terrorize the neighborhood. Mrs. Hai Tam reported seeing the ghost flying around inside the house daily. Neighbors heard her sobbing mournfully every night, crying, "My husband killed me." The haunting grew worse. The first person Han ghost haunted was Mr. Hylian. Mr. Hylian was a fisherman who set nets on the Van T Canal almost every night. The haunting was so severe that Mr. Hylian's family eventually moved away. Mr. Hylian described the ghost's antics. He would cast his net, go ashore to wait, and hear a big splash from a large fish. But when he checked, the net was empty and undamaged. This happened repeatedly. One night, he heard the large splash again, and this time, he was certain it was a big catch. He pulled up the net and found only a severed, bloody head, the head of Mrs. Giang, with matted hair and a bloody face. She grinned, exposing her teeth, and said, "Brother Hai, fishing tonight. Catch a lot of fish." Terrified, he threw the head back, jumped into the water, and ran home, hearing her laughter trailing behind him. His wife was worried, but he was too terrified to speak, covering himself with a blanket until the next noon. When he finally recounted the story, his wife and children were frightened, though they couldn't see the ghost themselves. For a month, Mr. Hylian stayed home, unable to work. Han ghost continued to harass him, jumping around the house, a stilt house made of leaves, and pulling on his leg, asking why he wasn't fishing. He became extremely thin and gaunt. After 5 weeks, his family packed up and moved to his wife's hometown. Next, the ghost targeted Mr. Hai. Mr. Hai was known for being very brave and didn't believe in or see Han ghost. When he heard others talking about her, he'd scoff, "I'd kick her in the head if I saw her." One rainy night, he went out to catch frogs and toads, catching a huge number. A woman approached him, asking if he'd caught many. He told her he'd caught a bag full to eat, not to sell. She asked what kind of frog dishes he liked. He mentioned he liked frog roti, and his wife liked SAT and sour bamboo shoot soup. The woman then asked what she should cook. She replied, "Oh, I'm too lazy to cook. I just eat them raw after catching them." Mr. Hai was confused and asked who she was. She laughed, "You don't remember me. I'm HNG Sao Tiem's wife. The one he killed and beheaded. Remember?" He instantly froze in terror. When he finally looked at her, he saw her, bloody and gruesome. She glided towards him, saying, "You said you'd kick me in the head. Here's my head. Kick it, kick it." Mr. Hai fainted from fright. His worried wife and neighbors found him lying unconscious in the field the next morning. He was paralyzed with fear and could only recount the tale after regaining composure. Mr. Tone, another friend of Tam's, realized he would be next. One morning, as he walked to his field, he was hit by mud balls. Knowing it was Hun Ghost, he cried out, "Mrs. Giang, I know it's you. Please forgive me, I'm scared. I'll have my wife make a feast and offer it to you tomorrow." He heard a laughing sound from a nearby TRM tree, and the attack stopped. He kept his promise, but only left the offerings on the porch, not daring to enter Tam and Han house. Even the narrator's great-grandmother and grandmother were affected. One night, the great-grandmother woke to go to the outhouse by the river, where the water was low. As she prepared to pull up her pants, she heard a voice. "Grandma, SIU, what are you doing?" Looking down, she saw Achiang clinging to a pillar, looking up at her. The great-grandmother fainted in terror. The grandmother only heard the voice haunting her on her way to the market, forcing her to threaten the ghost to leave her alone. The constant hauntings brought the story to Han mother and Shou GCC. Her mother hired a L-band sorcerer from Shou GCC to perform a ritual. The sorcerer sweated profusely during the ineffective ritual. He told Han mother, "I cannot help your daughter. She has become a powerful, bitter ghost with long fangs. She stands and threatens me not to interfere. I can only do the ritual for you, but you need a more powerful master." Han mother returned to Shou GCC. The haunting intensified, and people avoided leaving their homes after 5 p.m., one midday. A 50-year-old man in religious garb passed by, stopped at Han house, and then went to the tea shop run by the narrator's great-aunt, the grandmother's sister. He asked who lived in the house. The great-aunt explained that Han Ghost was there, terrifying everyone. The man, who identified himself as a master from Siam Mountain, said he would resolve the issue. He asked Han mother to be called down from Shou GCC. The mother and some relatives arrived the next day. The master prepared offerings and made a straw doll. He placed the doll on the altar and chanted. As he finished, Han's sister, Mrs. Bolage, who was present, fainted. When she revived, Han's spirit had possessed her, screaming threats at the master. The master calmly told the spirit to come with him to the mountain to atone and find peace. The spirit resisted, boasting that she had stalked Tam, broken his legs so he couldn't escape, and was satisfied he was executed. The master warned her he would use force. He took a large, red-painted needle used for sewing bags and plunged it into the straw doll. Mrs. Belay screamed in agony, begging him to stop and finally agreeing to go. Chiang cried, saying she was heartbroken and only wanted to see her son one last time. They brought little Hai over, and the spirit hugged and kissed him, crying and urging him to stay with his grandmother and uncles. Finally, the master assured the family that the spirit would not return. Han's spirit left Mrs. Belay, who was exhausted but had no memory of the possession. From that day on, no one ever saw Han Ghost again.